Hello everyone, welcome. Today we're going to look at the JIT, and we're going to follow the AZ500 Azure Security Labs. It's under the Microsoft Learning. If you go to GitHub, you will be able to get the lab. If you're preparing for the AZ500 security exam, you should do all the labs. We're going to cover most of the stuff that's in the Module 4 Lab 9 JIT. So what is JIT? JIT is a just-in-time control that you can apply to virtual machines in your environment to make your environment more secure. Now, to be able to do that, I'm just going to go to the security center. You gotta have the standard version enabled for your security center. So if I go to the Azure Security Center, you'll see the two versions, and your just-in-time access is only available under the standard subscription. Now this is not a free subscription. You're going to end up paying for different services within that subscription. If you don't need something, you can disable it from here. For now I have everything open, but I have a free subscription that's available for 30 days, so I'm not yet paying, or I have a $200 credit, so I'm paying, but it's going off from the credit Microsoft has already given to me. So once you have this, you can apply that feature to make your environment more secure. So typically you would apply the JIT for virtual machine for your virtual machines. So let's do one thing. Let's open a couple of machines over here. So let's open up two machines from here. So one is this one, and let's write down the public IP address that I have for this one. Okay, so let's do this, and so that one is one of the machines, and let's write down the name of the machine real quick. Copy, and we'll put the name of the machine, and let's go back and let's look at another machine that I have. Where is my, let's go to virtual machine one more time, virtual machines, and let's go to the Ubuntu machine and get the IP. What I should have done, I should have also taken the private IPs defined for them as well. So those are this Ubuntu. So you have both private, and so this is a private IP address. This is not routable, or you should say this is routable inside your Azure environment. Okay, so let's go back, and I want to get the IP address for this one, like the private IP address. So it's a different subnet. So you can tell that these two machines, they are on a different subnet. So to connect to the machine from your computer, you can log in to any of these two, okay, or both, or I can log into this one maybe, and from this one I can connect to that one. And if I try to do that, I don't have to use the IP address, private IP address anymore. I can directly use the private IP address from this machine to get to that one. So let's first demonstrate that I do not have any just-in-time access enabled. Okay, so I'm in a Ubuntu machine, so which is good. So here, this is my local Ubuntu machine. So from here, let's log into this machine. So using the public IP address, if I do SSH, then abus who add to that machine. You need to type it properly. So SSH. Let's see if anything is enabled. Okay, the other thing, I want to make sure that I don't have any rules already set up for this machine. So let's go there, and the place where you have you are going to set up those just-in-time access, they're under security center, and then you go to just-in-time VM access, and I want to make sure there's nothing is set up, but it's telling me two of them I do have configured just-in-time access. So what I want to do, I want to get rid of this for now. Let's see if I can get rid of it from here. Let's click on it and remove. Let's remove this one and remove that one either, that one as well. Okay, so what I'm telling, let's get rid of the configuration, so I have no protection, no JIT protection at this time. So it usually takes a little bit of time to get rid of it, and then once that's done, we'll just come back and we'll prove that there's no JIT. You can just directly log into the machine. Let's see if it's already done. Yeah, looks like it's already done. Okay, so there's nothing is configured, so let's go back over here and let's try to log in one more time. Hopefully it has taken its effect. It could take just a little bit of time to, once you change your configuration, it can take a little bit of time. So while this is doing, let's look at the other IP as well, and let's see if I can log into this IP. Alright, so SSH at, and that's my public IP. So this is, you can see that I can log in now, and so there we go. So if my password is right, I should be able to log into this machine. Okay, I was thinking of my password, trying to figure out if my password is right. And come on, looks like it's a little bit slow, this server. But here we go. So we are logged in. So it took a little bit, and I'm not really running a really huge big server over there. It's got a minimum configuration. So that's another reason why it's a little bit slow. Okay. So while this is doing, we want to also make sure that we can log in to the other one. So let's go back, and we just tried the first one. So let's see if the second one is still reachable. So let's try it. Yeah, so now I can go to both. So again, it may take just a minute. So what you have, so what we have just tested here. So I'm in there. Okay, so I'm in this machine, and I'm in here, I'm in the other machine. So this is the no NSG to begin with machine, and here is another machine, is Ubuntu. Okay, and this one is something I don't need, and to get rid of it. And to prove that I can log in from here to the other machine, okay, so let's the first one is what? First one is, this is the one where we went. Ubuntu, is this the Ubuntu? No, is this the node? So we are here in this machine. Now from this machine, if I want to go to the Ubuntu machine, I can also SSH to that one, and I can use the private network IP. So let's prove that from when we are within a virtual machine, and I can do a SSH to the other machine using the private. I want the private IP, so let's get the private IP. So let's see, get the private IP, and let's see if it is allowing me to go there or not. If it doesn't allow, then I would know that there is most likely we have some other feature that I have enabled that is not allowing one subnet to go to the another, one VNet to go to the other VNet. I'm just going to give it a minute. This is not this the required for this lab that we're trying to see, but we'll just see it anyway. Right, so right now I don't see any traffic from this one going to the other one. So we may have configured a firewall, we may have configured something else that's not letting you to go from this machine to the other one. That's fine. So right now, so far we have proved that without a just-in-time access, we can SSH to any of these two servers. Now we have also showed to create a just-in-time rule. You just go in here and go down to the where the just-in-time VM access. When you click on it, you have three different options really: configured, not configured, and unsupported. Unsupported would be if you have older version of resource manager like the classic deployment. So those VMs are not really supported for the JIT. So the configured is 0 means you have not configured anything. If I click not configured, this is showing up as one of the machines that is not configured. Now we have deleted the other two, so that's we may need to uh, run a resource discovery, or we have to come back a little bit later. So the not configured section is populated. So let's look at this one. No NAC to begin with. So this one we can now do we have this? Yeah, so we have logged into this one. So let's go back to that window again. Yeah, we are logged in over here, right? So let's get out of this, clear, and let's re-log in one more time just to prove that right now it's just going to directly ask you for the password, and you provide the password, you log in. So what we'll do, we'll just turn on the just-in-time access for this VM. So we are logged in. So let's get out of this. Once we are out, we'll come over here, we'll click on this one, and you can click this enable JIT on one VM, that button, and it's going to ask you which ports do you want to create. So this is, since this is a Ubuntu machine, the other ports are not really required, so I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm only creating 22 SSH port. So now just-in-time access configuration has started, so it may take a couple minutes to get everything done. So while it's working, and this machine should show up over here, and it already did. And the other thing it will show is this icon that is telling you that everything is good. If you want to get rid of it, or if you change anything, if you look at audit logs, you can do all of that in here. If you click edit, you can again add more ports if you want to configure. Let's go back. If you want to look at the audit log, you can click at it, click over here. Let's go back. And so now let's prove that we can no longer log into the machine using SSH. So if I do SSH, it is it's still letting you log in. So I guess this rule is still not implemented. So it started, so I have not received a notification that it's all done. So let's try to log and see what happens. Okay, so let's get out. Usually what happens, what I noticed previously, once you have configured, let me make sure that is the right IP for that machine. VM virtual machines. Okay, 40 121 210 41. Okay, the other, since we are here, the other way you can configure your JIT is right within the virtual machine blade. You can come down to the configuration, and in the configuration here's a just-in-time access. So it's already enabled, okay, for this one, so that's why this button is visible. But if you didn't have this enabled, you would be able to configure this one. But if it's enabled, you should not be able to SSH to the machine anymore. Let's prove that. Yeah, so now it's not going anywhere anymore. So now it took probably 2 or 3 minutes for Microsoft to be able to overwrite or rewrite some NSG rules to block SSH access to this particular machine. Now what if you are an administrator, you really need to do some administrative work and log into this machine. So you need to go back to the security center again, and you want to click on this one, and you would want to click on the request access. Now if you look if you have multiple ports open, you can turn on whichever port you are asking Azure to open up. In this case I just need 22. From where do you want to connect that IP? So for this one I'm just going to say my IP. It will pick up the IP of the machine that I'm using right now. It has a default of 3 hours max, so you can have it less. Say for 1 hour I don't need for too long, and you have to provide a justification. Need to perform admin work, and then you just say open ports, and once you do that, it will come over here, and if your request is approved, it usually gets approved automatically and it will show up as an approved request. So let's wait for again couple. So what it's doing is it's now writing the NSC rules to open up the ports. That's why it's going to take just a couple minutes, and we'll just refresh the page and see if what is the status of the approval. Okay, so this, now you see the approved is now one request is now approved. Last access is active now. Which port is open is port 22, and this is just picking up my saying who is doing the request. Okay, what is the user. So now let's go back over here and Control C again and try to log in again. And now since Microsoft has enabled my just-in-time access, now I can log into the machine once again. So this is a quick overview of how to use the just-in-time for virtual machines. Now there are some other areas where you can, now I'm logged into the machine, okay, but remember this access will be automatically disabled after 1 hour, just to make your environment very secure. Now if you go back to Security Center, one thing you need for the JIT is the agents. So if you go to the overview of Security Center, or getting started, sorry, here if you click on install agents, make the most Security Center by enabling data collection agent. So that is important, so that Microsoft knows and what to do and give you all the recommendation. And I have already installed the recommendation, so it's saying all set, all of subscription have automatic agent installation enabled. So I have already done that. Okay, so whenever I deploy a machine, this gets automatically installed. So that's something I wanted to show. And the other area where you can also go and apply this just-in-time access is over here. So here you can see the recommendations. Sometimes they will be also under the policy and compliance, but we'll just go to the recommendation and see if there's any recommendation for just in time. Yeah, so if I just search the recommendation for just in time, so you see secure management ports, it's telling management port virtual machine should be protected. So if I click on this one, okay, so it will also showing that this is the machine where you can enable this is the unhealthy resource where you can enable the protection. It's saying the healthy resources is this one, but we have disabled, so it will probably take a little bit of more time to as you to get some next round of recommendations for you. But this is another place where you can do and configure. So I can click right over here and I can click on remediate, and that will enable the just-in-time network access for this machine as well. So let's come back to Security Center. Yet another place where you can do it would be under there is a virtual machine, compute and apps. So this VM is part of the compute, so you can go there, and I bet that here also you should be able to find a just-in-time, and the same thing is showing up over here. And you can also click the quick fix over here, that will also bring you to this, and here it's actually have the right information. We removed the just-in-time for these two machines, so it's showing up in here. So I can click both of them, I can click remediate, and that will enable the just-in-time for these two machines. So I think those were probably the most of the things that is covered in this lab. We have looked at the installing agent, we talked about it. I talked about how to enable these, how to enable these rules. I talked about note recommendation. Just-in-time solution requires NSC to be in place, so you need that. I told you classic VMs is not really supported this time, and that's about it. If you need more information, you can go back to this page, and you can do follow it through and make sure that you can do it by yourself. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you like it, please subscribe, and give me a like. Thank you.